Oh my God.
Just in case, because seriously.
Literally, you never know.
Okay, it's unlisted, so now let me make it public and then let's let the dolls file in. Let's see.
Yeah, pull in, kids. Pull up, pull up. Back up.
All right. Y'all are here saying excellent connection. Let me just bump up the quality. Okay. Girl. Sharon. Oh, thank you. Whew. Sharon is a dedicated moderator. Oh my God. I'm so
No, we
sorry.
stand Sharon.
Like, Sharon. Thank you so much for being like, you. Oh gosh. Oh my
Okay, wait. Are,
goodness.
are, are we live?
We are live. Everyone is filing in. We're just gonna let the dolls file in. We're just gonna chit chat. Can you see the chat? You have your iPad.
Yes, I'm doing. Oh, there I am. I'm watching me. Oh my God. Okay.
Hi.
Yeah, no, I can see. I can see stuff.
Okay, Aeronaut. Oh my gosh. Oh, hello. Okay, there are at least a couple of mods here. Amen. Amen. Ooh. Everyone, y'all can hear us. You can hear Herbie.
Right. Can you
Not,
hear me?
not can hear as fast as possible. Your connection is good. That makes one of us.
Right. Child, the things that we've been through
Oh my God, we have been on. We don't gotta tell them, but we have been
around the
trying.
world and I.
I know my baby. Oh my God. Okay. Audio is good. I can hear both of you great. Let me just say how proud I am that this is coming together because listen,
Girl, babies in STEM.
babies
Babies
in
in STEM.
STEM.
Okay,
Who is
good,
fighting?
good.
Why is fighting? When is fighting? Y'all are so silly. Oh
People
my
are
God.
funny. This kind of feels like a first date, but like everyone is watching.
Right? Because this is the first time we're
Yeah,
actually talking to each other. It's so funny.
I know. But I think this is gonna be a fruitful
Oh my
conversation.
God, but
This really
also,
is.
what the hell? Do you use teeth whitener? Why are your teeth so damn white?
You know what my response to that normally is? It's usually a lighter skinned person asks me that, and I'm like, it's the contrast. It's the contrast.
I got
Um,
contrast, but
no, you're saying pretty right. You know what it is? It's the 18 lights on me because I'm using my
fair.
MacBook camera. So I'm like,
Fair.
yeah, it's reflection.
Listen. No, I'm not in Germany. Sorry, I'm like popping back in. And I'm back home now, but I was in Deutschland. It was nice. Berlin is
I'm
great.
jealous.
It was a good time. Berlin is such a fun gay city.
Come on, fun and gay.
It's like Montreal, but they speak German, you know?
Oh, I was gonna say no, because you know, I've never been to Montreal. Um, but what from I can assume I can make the connection.
Okay, okay, okay. Hold on, I'm turning you up. Who is fighting? Oh, we're gonna get into it because, girl, Lord. Hold on, this isn't gonna be monetized, so I'm just going. If you see ads on
You
it, talk to YouTube because I'm not monetizing this. I'm telling you off rip.
right.
But if you are
Totally
here,
fine.
look at Sharon, right on time. There's a link to Herbie's channel. If you're here, you know what to do already. And if you haven't gone there, I don't know why you haven't. That's confusing, but we'll wait.
Yeah, I am confusion. Pull up on me.
I
You know what's interesting that I was like, girl, I just need something to take the nerves off because I do feel like it's a first date, but everyone is watching, and this is a hot button topic, right?
Yep, yep.
So I had tea, but then I was like, girl, it's giving something a little bit stronger than tea.
Thank
Um,
you. You
yeah,
had
so it's 5 o'clock
tea.
somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock.
So this is wine.
But in a mug. Thanks.
Yeah.
Herby, would you like to introduce yourself to the folks?
Yes, yes. Hello. Hey, whole world, homeboy and homies. That's what I usually say on my channel. But hey, y'all, I'm Herby Revales. My pronouns are he, she, him, her, hers, and herses. I create content on YouTube
I was about to
around
say,
pop
and yes, that
culture.
do mean I wear bags, shirts, pearls, and purses. I have your thing memorized
Yes, I'm gagging.
I watch
You're
your
so
videos. Don't
Disney.
play.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. I'm
Pants,
like,
skirts, pearls, and purses. Yes, JoJo.
oh, I'm gagging. I'm
Herby
gagging for
Hive
real.
is in the chat.
Come on, Herbie Hug. No, yeah. So I create content around like Black feminist issues, concerns, and politics through the lens of like pop culture. Um, Not exclusively Black culture because we talk about other stuff, but almost certainly Black culture. And a bunch of other random bullshit. So just pull up on me, girl. Just pull up on me.
You will be glad. Trust me. I sometimes just watch your videos and I'm just sitting there talking to TV like, stop! Why are you like this? Oh my God.
No, yeah, I'm literally talking. We've had this conversation many a times in my room with my phone propped up. I'm like, this human is so funny. I love this person.
This is what it is. Oh, so this is so lovely. Thank you for being willing to join. I literally just slid into your chat and was like, you trying to go live about
I
what's
live
going
for
on?
it. I live for it.
Because
Um,
quickly to if y'all haven't known, I did You Can Always Change Your Mind, and Herby was on a couple of episodes of that, so you can check that out as well. I believe episodes 5 and 6, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. But yes, and check out Herby's channel. Also, the mess that we're getting into today, it's a bit more nuanced. It's not just mess. It's not just mess. It's a bit more nuanced than that. That's why Herby is hitting you with the 1970s, the fit and the fro.
girl, Angela Davis realness, honey.
Come on.
Let me just say,
looking like bell hooks in the background.
my sister. No, yeah, there's nothing more shake and go than an Afro wig. You don't even have to shake it, girl. Just throw it on.
Just throw it on.
Boom. Yeah. No, yeah.
All right.
It's nuance for sure.
Shall
I'm
we
gonna let
get
you
into
start
this?
it off. Yeah, I'm gonna let you start it off, and then I'll follow up.
Okay, y'all. In order to start this off, we got to talk about a video that came out. And can you? So, okay. It's always starting is the hardest part. Here we go.
I know.
So, there was a video that a TikTok user named Blessing Rose. Is her name Blessings? Is that her first
Yes.
name? Okay, because everybody just keeps calling her trans activist, and I'm like, she has a name. you could use it. So
Right.
Okay.
Right.
First and foremost, so a little bit of media literacy. Anyway, so Blessing was like, just posted some thoughts about the gatekeeping around periods and how cis women. Let's just let her say it. This is only part of a clip, by the way. This isn't the full one. I tried to turn the volume down before we started. Here we go.
Transphobia just comes out, the audacity and just the arrogance for cis women to believe that they own periods, that they own womanhood. You don't. Okay, you don't own periods. You don't own womanhood. You experience both, and both are different for every person. But as a cis woman, it doesn't belong to you, so you can't gatekeep it. Like, hello.
Okay, before we get into everything Jess said, before we get into that. I've seen this all over the place. Sorry,
Yeah,
Abrar Khan,
sorry.
you're gonna see it some more. So
Yeah.
she posted this, and then, of course, libs of TikTok reposted it because they are nothing if not click whores. They want nothing but the clicks, the engagement whores. And like, I'm never gonna shame a whore. Do what you gotta do, but at least be honest.
Girl, at least be honest, hoe.
The sex workers, the hoes that I know are honest. Okay? I ain't
Period.
never met, so far, knock on wood, a sex worker that will lie to me about some shit. It's unnecessary.
Right. I agree. Work ain't honest, but it pays the bills. But the hoe is honest. The work may not be honest, but it pays the bills, and the hoe
But the
is
work is
honest.
also honest. Because, I mean, if we're going to talk about the real exchange of how sex and money work in this world,
Ooh,
sex
wake it up.
workers have the most honest relationship, I think, a lot of times, to the transactional nature of sex. But that's a
No,
video for
yeah.
another day.
Well, I just want to say I agree. I was saying it because that's the colloquialism that a lot of people use. Work ain't honest, but it
Oh,
pays
yeah,
the
you're
bills.
right. You're right. I'm always clarifying, though, because, some people, listen, people like to misunderstand.
It's necessary. Mm-hmm.
But what functions did I? Okay, sorry, I got distracted reading the things. I can't read y'all talking while we're doing this. Okay.
You are me and I am you. I do this all the
I
time.
need to stop looking. Okay. So she posted this. Libs of TikTok, of course, decided that they needed to get onto something that they knew would make people mad. They wanted to take things out of context and do all of that. And then Jess Hilarious got a hold of it somehow. And she had this to say. I'm gonna try to skip the rest of it, but I'm just warning y'all, if you are sensitive to this,
Girl.
yes, that's all you needed to say.
Girl.
Transphobia just comes out. The audacity.
So this is a video that Jess stitched.
They own womanhood. You don't. Okay, you don't own periods. You don't own womanhood. You experience both, and both are different for every person. But as a cis woman, it doesn't belong to you, so you can't gatekeep it. Like, hello?
Hello. Who the fuck is gonna stand up for us? Who the fuck stands up for us? And us, I mean women, real women, biological women, women who were born with all the parts that you guys wish that you were. When does the delusion stop? What is the difference between you and someone who has been diagnosed to be mentally insane? What's the only difference is you don't have a straitjacket on. Stop talking out your fucking ass. Wake up. How are you projecting your anger on real women? Because we are the gatekeepers. We are the gatekeepers for periods. We the only one that fucking bleed, honey. We the only ones that can give birth. We make y'all people. We make y'all. Y'all come from us. You can't be us. You will never. You're chasing something you'll never, ever get. You'll never be that.
Like, hello?
Ooh, girl. All right.
It's like, yeah. Do you want me to start off in response, or do you want to start in response?
I would love for you to start. I have a lot of, so you saw I had notes. I had a lot of questions in my notes. You are a guest. But the one thing I will say is a broken clock is right twice a day.
And see, there's so much here. There's so much here to unpack where it's like irresponsibility on, and I'm going to, irresponsibility on both parts, but I'm going to speak to everything in more nuance. We're both going to speak to everything in more nuance as we go along. So don't take anything on face value up front. But the first thing I want to say is you can have an interesting message and not be the right messenger, right?
One more again. You can have a good message, but not be the right messenger.
Right. And you know what? I'm not even one of those people that thinks that you have to be of an experience to speak on an experience, right?
Yeah.
I want the person with the most expertise, the most knowledge, and the most inclusive politic
And
to
the
be
most
speaking
care.
on that. Boom. That as well. Because we all know that people can weaponize their identity to speak to, like, kid, it's always girl, Kanye West.
I was literally about to say Kanye. Like,
We see each other.
You know. Yes. Please.
No, yeah. So
This really do feel like the 70s. I'm out here smoking while you in a fro your shit. I'm sorry. Okay.
No. I'm living. And I think too, specifically when you talk about care and responsibility, when you're of an experience, like when you're of an identity like blackness and transness that is so politicized, right? There has to be extra care because of the implications of what you're saying on on the community that you're allegedly speaking for. And so when I first heard, my initial thought when this trans woman was speaking, when Blessing was speaking, right? I'm like, oh, and this is why my response video was about intersex people, because I'm like, oh, she's obviously talking about, even though I still don't think that she's the best messenger. She's obviously talking about intersex people who are neither biologically male nor female, but do menstruate. She's talking about people who are biologically female, but do not identify with womanhood, right? Boom, straight like that. And so maybe I'm like, maybe what she's getting at is expanding the conversation around who has a period, and approaching it from a biological perspective. But in watching her response videos, because also just to provide a definition, I don't know where everyone is with respect to, I don't know if everybody knows what intersex is, but I did pull up the definition.
This is why because hi.
Hi.
Go ahead, friend. Go ahead, friend.
Intersex people are people or individuals born with several sex characteristics, including chromosome patterns. Is it gonoids or gonoids? I just found out about this today.
Gonads.
Gonads.
Yes.
I
remember a little bit from biology in high school. Just a little bit. Just a little.
Right. So that's like the internal genitalia, and obviously external genitalia, who may not those people may not identify with womanhood or manhood. They may just be non-binary, or maybe they do identify with those gender categories. And what's the most frustrating for me is, like, I feel like, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to pass the baton. I feel like so many of us have come to a place where we understand that gender is a social construct, or we've come in contact with that conversation online. And so I think people have accepted it. Many people have accepted it as like a leftist way of understanding gender. But this could be looked up in the dictionary. This is just the definition.
Like it's actually just biology.
No, yeah. Oxford Dictionary makes a delineation between gender and sex, right? And how gender is, well, I have that definition as well. Yeah. Even though I feel like we all here have an understanding of it, this video is going to reach a bunch of people, right? And so it defines gender as the male sex or the female sex, especially when considered with reference to social or cultural differences rather than biological ones, or one of a range of other identities that do not correspond to established ideas of male or female. And I personally view gender as a philosophical experiment that we've all agreed.
Sorry, you know when something hits you and you just like, sorry, you keep going.
Yeah. I'm from the church. I feel something in my shondo at least 4 times a day.
Not in my shondo.
So I resonate. No, I do believe it to be a philosophical experiment that we've all just agreed that gender is biologically determined, and because it's philosophical because we kind of shape reality, right? We've created connections that have not always been there, that have not always existed, and we accept them to be true. And I find that sorry. if you're gonna put people in social categories based on alleged shared interests and predispositions on the basis of biology, which is already complex in and of itself, right? Like even the way that, because people will say, oh, they assigned a gender at birth, right? Doctors, because they assumed a gender at birth, but they also assume sex, right? The fact that intersex is only 3 to 4% of the population, found to be only 3 to 4% of the United States population. I know you're in Canada, so I don't have the numbers on that.
I didn't pull up those numbers, but I have some numbers.
Okay.
I have other numbers for something else. But anyway,
Google is your friend, kids. But that's just because they look at the external genitalia, not the gonads, right? Not the chromosome patterns. They're not looking at hormone imbalance. They're not looking at the multifacetedness of what makes an intersex person. They're just deciding a sex and a gender and correlating those two things. And they don't always go together. And then I think it just goes to show that the foundation of gender that is inextricably linked in this country and really all across the world now because of Western colonialism, that is inextricably linked to biology, sits on shaky ground because biology has more to say for itself than just male female. So that's what I wanted to open up with.
Ooh, come on in the room, because that's the other part of it. The thing that I always laugh about is that as human beings, right, We like to say that we're so smart, we're sentient, we're above the animals, we have all of these different things. Look at the world that we've made. But whenever we talk about gender, we go right back to cave people times and act like that's how cave people acted. We like, when historians also debate this. The thing about it, though, is knowing your history, you would know that this definition that, as you said, is on shaky ground, is not just, has not always been around. The definition and the philosophical understanding that we all have and agree upon with each other, spoken or unspoken, has taken many different shapes and forms. In certain cultures, it's not even an actual thing, the way we talk about gender, or it is very different. And it's just so funny to me how, and this is, I have to say this because I've lived in America and Canada for both like 15 years each. And I will say the American self-centeredness. Like, we really do think the whole world revolves around us and everybody in the world is thinking about everything the exact same way we do. And there is a lot of influence from American culture, 100%. I'm not going to act like that's not a fact. But we're overstating how our opinion and our view, our philosophical agreement of gender, is supposed to be the norm all across the world when there are billions of people on this planet. And also, yes, when I first saw the video, with Blessing's video, I was like, okay, I don't know the context of this. I don't know what else she said. I've never seen her before, so I don't even know what she stands for. I just know that seeing this video, I'm assuming, like you said, she was talking about non-binary folks or genderqueer folks or intersex people. You know, like, I just was like, she's talking about a smaller percentage of the population. Because if you look at the numbers so far, from what we know, it is a smaller percentage of the population. Hyper visible, but still a small percent. That's why we are marginalized. But it's sometimes I wonder about the war that some women online will have, specifically trans women and cis women online. In this case, trans women and cis black women, trans black women and cis black women will have online about what woman means, who's allowed to be, who isn't. A lot of times it is cis women doing this policing of, not even just policing. Like, there's a whole, women do it to each other all the time anyway, of like how you should be a woman, like, but sorry, give me one second.
No, I actually feel like you're making really salient points. And I think, no, I do. I really do.
Please. I was like, could you just stop before you start talking nonsense? Like,
no, you are. Just the mere fact that, to your point of like people doing gender differently in different cultures, the mere fact that these people exist means that we must complicate our understanding of gender, right? These people exist. We all on the same rock floating in space, right? So we have to navigate this world together. And even people will be like, oh, like when I brought up intersex people, a lot of the comments that I was getting is like, okay, to your point, they're only 3 to 4% of the population. Why should we even consider that? And it's like, well, trans people make up 1.4% of the population, yet there is a hyper focus of the adult. These are U.S. stats, right?
Yes.
Yet there's
in Canada,
a hyper.
It's in and around. I have some numbers, but in Canada, it's in around the same number.
Okay. Yet there's a hyper focus on those people, and we understand that their existence disrupts what we understand to be what is, right? And so the fact, and that's with respect to gender. So the mere fact that intersex people exist complicates our understanding of what is. And I also think that, like, back to the point of what Blessing, because what Blessing was alluding to was not intersex people. I found, and I don't know if you got a chance because you were doing a lot trying to, be a tech genius.
If you see this beautiful background, it took some time. Okay, it shouldn't have, but it did.
But it did. There's a video that I sent you, and it was of Blessing, like 2 years ago, talking about phantom periods, and I'd never heard of phantom periods. I'd never heard of that.
Oh, did you ever hear about phantom breast pains and cramps?
They work in tandem. Yes. Yes, this is all new to me.
Zoe, sluts on stilts. That's her Instagram name. She was on a video that I did in You Can Always Change Your Mind as well, but she was talking about that, and that was the first time I'd ever heard about that. But continue, sorry, to tell the people.
Right. So y'all can tiptoe back to that video for reference. But just for right now, for the sake of it, I did phantom periods. I thought I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah. Phantom periods are periods without actual blood flow that have symptoms very similar to normal periods, i.e., body cramps, fatigue, tenderness in the breasts, mood swings, bloating, and overall discomfort, right? Everything except for the actual blood release. And phantom periods occur in all kinds of people, and in all kinds of sexes, right? Not even just people with uteruses, although a lot of the causes come from people with uteruses, irrespective of how they identify. You can experience a phantom period from IBS. You can experience a phantom period from stress. You can experience a phantom period from hormone imbalances. And so that is what she was alluding to. However, girl, step into the light, niece. Don't nobody know that. Don't nobody know that.
No.
Girl, you need to say phantom period, because period is inextricably linked to blood flow. You know
Don't nobody know that.
like, and you knew that.
Oh my God.
Girl, context is important and information is free. So if you're gonna, especially in clip culture.
Yes, context, that's the thing. Because it isn't right when people take your shit, clip it out of its context, and just be like, ha ha ha, I've had people do it to me. It's not fun. It's really irritating. Right. Especially when you take time to add that context. But as you were saying, like, talking about phantom periods, a lot of people in this chat are probably like, what?
Right.
When I first saw that video that Zoe did, I was like, wait. Like, she was like, there were 2 women in my office that were pregnant. I started getting weird breast pain as well. Like, well, I was like, I was literally like, the human body is so fascinating. What?
No, yeah, we're literally mushrooms all connected.
Like, to me, I think that is so incredible. But other people take it as, you just a man trying to be a woman. Stop.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Do you really think
That's
people would take that much time? Like, sorry, okay, that was a side. I just really want to know, do people really think that we spend this much time, any of us, thinking about other people to make ourselves appear, like, people will often say you're doing this for attention. You're just trying to be gender queer or trans for attention. It is not, clearly it's not fun to be trans or gender queer. So do you really think that we're not 16. We're not children. Right. And even then, children should be allowed to socially transition, whatever agreements they have with their parents, like their doctors, that's their business. They're not my kids. I'm not worried about other children's genitals. I don't know why y'all are, and it's very strange, but either way.
It's very peculiar.
It's really strange. Peculiar. I'm like, what? Why are we doing this? Anyway.
Okay, last note on blessing, and then we can, or my last note on blessing.
Yes. No, go ahead. Because I have more to say about Jess anyway. Like, I have more.
We're going to get to verbally windmilling with love. Of course, always with love, but but I think the final thing is, yes, people will clip your stuff up, or maybe you'll release your stuff as a clip because it's salacious or what have you.
Yeah, and people don't have attention spans. You want to get those views or you get your message out.
Makes complete sense. However, it all like cycles back to what we mentioned at the very top of this video: care and responsibility. If you are going to wake something up that 0.0003% of the population has ever even heard of, you have a responsibility to either walk it back or walk me through it, niece.
Ooh, walk it back or walk me through it. Yes, and I know people will say, well, it's not my job to educate you. Y'all, stop making these statements sweeping generalizations. It's not my job to educate you to an extent. To an extent, correct. Yeah, it is not my job to spoon feed you all the information, stroke your hair, compliment you the whole time, and make sure that you're feeling good while you're learning hard shit. No. Because it's not going to feel good. A lot of white people still want to learn about racism and it to feel good. And I don't know what to tell them. Because you should be upset with your ancestors, not us. But anyway.
Okay.
They did it. What?
No, but actually, your issues are bigger and wider than me.
But it's also a thing of like, to an extent, you were also once learning the thing you're currently teaching someone. So humble your brow and stop acting like people have no right to learn the information, but then get mad that people don't know. It's something that I've had to learn. I had to have my therapist drag me a bit and just be like, okay, Khadija, yes, maybe you have this initiative or you have this curiosity, but not everyone's like that. And you either have to meet people where they're at and adjust your expectations and do the work that you want to do to help, or don't. But getting this upset is only going to bother you, because those people will be willfully ignorant and fine with it.
Okay, one thing for certain and two things for sure. But you know what else too? Just to add to your point, it is dangerous. I'm sorry, baby.
Ooh.
I didn't make this political system, this structural system. You as a Black trans woman, trans feminine, you are under so much legislative, institutional, cultural, and media attack. It is ridiculous. So we need allies. We being Black people, we being queer people, we being marginalized groups, even if those allies, and especially when those allies are other marginalized people, right? And so if you're going to speak to something that you know can be perceived as derogatory towards another marginalized group, that would be,
Black women in this case.
Boom, right like that.
Well, yeah.
Then you have a responsibility to first of all say phantom period, because girl, the dictionary is going to disagree with you every time.
Unless I didn't know that was the context of it. I thought she was talking. So yeah. Anyway, sorry.
No. In the video that I watched, she talked about like phantom period, and then she was like, she basically said, "I said what I said. I say what I want to say because I say what I want to say." And I'm like, when trans women are being attacked, unalived, and there's so much legislative attacks against them specifically, especially when that compounds on their race identity, you have innate responsibility. I'm sorry, beloved. Yeah. With great power and great intellect comes great responsibility.
This is like and this is a side tangent, real small, real quick. It's like the argument that people have. I was listening to someone say the other day about how people will be like, it's fat phobic and classist to tell people that they can't shop fast fashion. And it's like, but you're not thinking about the poor migrant worker in a developing country that's making the materials for you. You don't think that they also have a marginalized, they also might have a hard life besides not being able to buy certain clothes, which I'm not saying is not a problem for people.
Right.
I'm not saying that's not an issue. But lovingly, we have to hold these things simultaneously.
Yep.
And it's not a good feeling. Yeah. Every time I look at my phone, I'm like, this is not a good feeling, because my ass has an iPhone. And what child hands had to work in the Congo to get the materials?
Right.
It
dragged me.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I talk a lot about harm reduction. And what you're saying as well makes sense about the danger of it. It's like, we are just spewing our ideas out there. We are just throwing the things that we learn out without considering, hold up now, what kind of impact is this really going to have? And not just what is it going to have, but do I need to be saying this?
Yeah. And it's not even about teaching people or calling people out. Everything is about vantage point and perspective. It's about calling people in. Sometimes
you got to lovingly call people out. Sometimes people can't hear a call in. Sometimes you got to yell. Sometimes
Yeah, girl, I would lovingly drag you as well.
Yes, to an extent, remember.
Right, harm reduction, right?
Yes, reduction. But it doesn't mean I will not lovingly gather you together.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Wait, are we? Sorry.
Sorry. That was my tangent. I'm sorry. I went on that weird little, but it was just about, because you were talking about the care that we need to have when we're not just educating, but especially speaking on things that affect us, we think is only going to affect us. And it's annoying, yes. You are online, you just want to talk, you don't want to be the sole representation for every Black trans woman. Blessing, I am sorry, because that is irritating and I get it. But it's also the thing of like, you still have to be careful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially because then we got the backlash.
Boom.
So, as y'all saw in the video, and I think because people are still coming in, I'm going to play it once more. I'm sorry, y'all. Mute it if you want to, because I know some people do not want to hear this again. Totally fair, but I'm giving you a warning. I just got to play it again because a lot of people just entered the chat and don't know what we're talking about.
Transphobia just comes out. The audacity and
Herbie,
just
we can take a little
the
smoke drink
arrogance
break.
for cis women to believe that they
I got my
own
water.
periods, that they own womanhood. You don't. Okay, you don't own periods. You don't own womanhood. You experience both, and both are different for every person. But as a cis woman, it doesn't belong to you, so you can't gatekeep it. Like, hello?
Hello. Who the fuck is gonna stand
It's
up
a shame
for
because
us?
she does look beautiful like
Who
this.
the fuck stands up for us? And us, I mean women, real women,
Oh, no.
biological women, women who were born with all
Yeah,
the parts that
I
you guys
agree.
wish that you were. When does the delusion stop? What is the difference between you and someone who has been diagnosed to be mentally insane? What's the only difference is you don't have a straitjacket on. Stop talking out your fucking ass. Wake up. How are you projecting your anger on real women? Because we are the gatekeepers. We are the gatekeepers for periods. We the only one that fucking bleed, honey. We the only ones that can give birth. We make y'all people. We make y'all. Y'all come from us. You can't be us. You will never. You're chasing something you'll never, ever get. You'll never be that.
Like, hello?
Ugh, that last part of the edit was so shady. Girl, like,
Just
unnecessary.
nasty.
It was unnecessary. All right. So,
Just
yes.
a nasty woman.
Jess Hilarious is a content creator. She's been online for years. She's always made content. People have always been rude about her looks. I'm not going to act like people have not been disrespectful as hell about her looks. And I don't know that much about her other than the fact that she creates content. And I think she might have a podcast, or like she usually does like a weekly roundup or daily roundup of celebrity news or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you're more familiar with her.
I'm very familiar.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Yeah, no, she does Just with the Mess, and my news is
That's what
real.
it's called. Okay.
And she does also have like a little show that she does on her YouTube channel. She's on Wilding Out or Wilding
Yes,
Out.
Falling Out. That's what it was.
She does a bunch of stuff. She's
Okay.
funny
Yes.
when she's not transphobic.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Well, that's been the show, y'all. Okay. Anyway, so
Peace.
she came out with this video, and Lord, when I saw it, I was like, oh my God. Like, I could like feel the anger and upset, right? And I'm not doing this, why you angry, so I can discount her feelings. No. I talk about feelings all day long on this channel. We can talk about feelings and have a conversation. So, sensing her anger was not anything other than me sensing her anger, like sensing that she looked pissed and like she had been holding this in and needed to get it out. And I understand to an extent, right, the emotion that was coming out of her because of the fact, simply because of the phrase, who looks out for us, right? Simply because of that, feeling like you have nobody that looks out for you as a Black woman.
Of course.
Feeling
of
like
course.
you have no protection, right? Like I immediately with that, I was like, okay, this is the crux of it right here. Not the whole thing. And then I thought, and I was asking myself, because I told you, I had a list of questions. What exactly is it, or what exactly is so terrifying and wrong for a cis woman, a Black cis woman, to be called a man? Because at the end of the day, that's the idea here, that trans women are just men, is the mentality, but also that whenever you want to insult a Black woman, you say she looks like a man.
Right.
I was marinating on that, and patriarchy. I couldn't. I had to say it because it had to come out. Every time it comes out
It's
of my
always
mouth.
that. It's always that.
Because in this type of system, men are disposable. If we're going to be honest about it, men's bodies are pretty disposable. Men are expected to put themselves in harm's way if a woman is around because women are more vulnerable, right? If I talk to men that have talked about how when they were young and if their mom was in a situation or a sister or something, even if they were 14, they were expected to intervene or step in. Or some older man would be like, well, what did you do when that was going on?
Right.
Why didn't you do something, right? I'm not saying we've always felt that protection. Trust me. Hi. But I will say that we do tend to treat men's bodies as more disposable.
Yeah.
And when you kind of subconsciously see that all the time, see the cruelty, the way men deal with each other from childhood upwards, the way we treat young men, and sometimes young women, young black women, in very similar ways as well, you start to feel that way, that lack of protection. You don't feel as, okay, well, people are going to look out for me. If I'm standing next to a white girl that's 5 foot, maybe she's the same height as me. I won't say 5'1" because, you know, a smaller person, people are going to want to anyway. But let's say she's my height and somebody's going to come after us. I don't always expect that if there are people in the space that they're going to look out for me, but they'll look out for her.
Of course. Of course.
And so that's what I meant when I was like, okay, that her saying that, who looks out for us, who protects us, and me trying to connect, well, what is so horrible and dangerous and scary about being called a man? And even when people have pointed out me being muscular before, I was self-conscious about it. I didn't want to be because I was like, I'm already dark as hell. I'm already a black woman at the time when I didn't know, in this world. People already don't give a fuck.
Right.
If they think I'm a man, it gives them even more reason to not give a fuck.
Right. And to harm you. And
yes.
An increased rate of harm. I think I agree so much. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like it just made me, and this isn't to be like, oh, poor man and poor whatever, but I'm going to have compassion for everybody because I care about people, y'all. Fuck. Care about human beings, okay? And if we're going to say none of us are free till all of us are free, then we have to examine the fact that men won't be in this society. And how does that then harm us on the bigger scale? The way we look at men and compound that by race. And then you look at black women this way and fearing the black body. They talk about this. The author talks about this, how different African bodies were seen as attractive or less attractive by this European standard, about the way black bodies are talked about as almost not as human.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you think, well, you're doing the same thing to trans women. But anyway, sorry.
No.
You had points and I was just like,
no, you are late. Oh, sorry. Let me get you are laying. Okay. So I think that I agree. I think that we have a gendered. So there's a couple of pieces here, specifically with Just Hilarious, and then outside of her, with respect to the people who agreed with her comments. I think that we do, each men, women, non-binary people, but most people view gender as a binary. So I think we have a gendered set of struggles.
Yep.
Right. And so men have struggles and unsafeties, if that's a word, or things that make us unsafe, that are unique to being perceived as a man, and then the vice versa, right? And so if you are perceived as someone who is a quote he, she, right, or navigating those two spaces, you open yourself up already as a black dark-skinned woman that she is to a world. Any sort of violence that is available, you've opened yourself up to it all. And who wants to be the recipient of all that? I also think that Just Hilarious, since the beginning of her career, she's always been, and this is no shade, she's always been trans passing, right? And so that her and there's been violence and harm, not harm, but violent language, right, lobbed at her.
Yeah.
Like, you're not a woman, right? And it's so interesting because my best friend, who's no longer a friend of mine because she became incredibly religious, still got love for her. We were friends for like 6 years, but it's not gonna work. But she is 6 foot, dark skin, and so and she's like muscular, right? Like when you were describing your experience, I'm like, this reminds me of my friend Faustina. So we would go out and we had very different struggles. I'm gay in a straight club. Don't anybody talking to me. And she would be like, there's many times she's come to me and people have asked her, is she a trans woman? They obviously didn't say it like that. They said it much more ignorantly. And I used to be like, in my attempt to come to her defense, like, bitch, you are cunty. I don't know what the girls see, but I see it for you. Fuck him. Sorry if I'm using too much
It's
profanity.
not monetized. Say what you want.
Right. So fuck him. You know what I'm saying? Just to try to uplift her spirit. But I think that the question becomes, what is the harm in being perceived as a trans woman? And the correct answer should be, there is no harm. That's what the correct answer should be. You should still have the same access to safety, and just access to just be who you are. But that's not the reality, right? When you are deemed trans, something shifts about your life. And I always thought that Jess Hilarious, she's always been a bigot, right? Let's just sit that in its context. She had to apologize for saying the F word years ago. She had to apologize when she was on that plane and she saw someone in it. Is it called a Sunni?
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. I forgot about that.
Yeah, been a big.
And she thought that terrorists were on her plane. Oh, my God. Yeah, okay.
Simply because they were Muslim.
Yeah. And I don't think they were Muslim. I think they're just Sikh. Y'all,
that's
in
what
the
they
chat,
were.
in the chat, correct us, but I'm
Please.
pretty sure they were just Sikh.
Right. Correct me. I'm so sorry. But yes, actually that was the story.
Yes.
And then she had someone on her show podcast where they were talking about Lil Nas X and Boosie, and even after someone explaining to her like, Lil Boosie wished death on Lil Nas X. He's like a bunch of stuff, and she was like, I don't think he's homophobic. Everything is not a gay issue. Been a bigot, and was waiting for the opportunity to try to rally people around her to attack a more marginalized group, because she just doesn't think that trans women should exist. Now, I also will say, when you said you resonated with her, I resonated with the ignorance, right? And that's not a read either. Right? You can be ignorant to something because you just don't have the information. Yeah. She maybe didn't know that intersex people exist. She maybe didn't know that phantom periods were a thing. She probably didn't know a lot. And so she's like, to the point that the initial cis woman made Blessing make that video, like, she was like, cis women can't have anything, not even something as annoying as periods. And it's like, this is why I say Blessing is not the right person to speak on that, because I would have seen that and just be like, I'm gonna let her have it. That cis woman. And then there are enough non-binary female people. There are enough trans men. There are enough people with the lived experience and the expertise to speak to menstruation. And that doesn't have to be me.
Menstruation does not need to be this political or divisive a social issue. What I mean by that is, it's a bodily function that some of us have and some of us don't have. The way that cis women want to only have, we can't have anything. What do you have your body, you have your uterus, you have your vagina, and whatever you choose to do with that. So what exactly do you mean we can't have anything? You don't want to share space. And it's funny because you don't want to share space. You don't want to include different types of feminine bodies, trans women, just women in this umbrella term. You don't want to have inclusion for that. But you don't see, and if you learned your history and really listen to Sojourner Truth when she asked, ain't I a woman? You would understand that she was talking to white women saying, so because I'm black, I'm just not a woman? I want us to understand that this idea of woman, and this is why this paper that I had told you about, where black feminism and trans feminist thought meet, I read this a few years ago, and the YouTube video is still on my channel today. It's like one of the least viewed ones, I think, because I was explaining what women meant. Women with the X and the Y, and, you know, I found primary sources. I was like feeling myself. But anyway.
Period.
That paper and that video, you can literally see me changing the way I am thinking about gender. And I had a friend come out to me as non-binary, maybe back in like 2014, or no, maybe 2015. And I remember saying to them, oh, I could never use they, them pronouns. I'm just like a girl, you know? Like, I'm just a girl. Girl. I'm
Hi,
feminine.
Herby.
Yeah. I'm feminine to an extent, but like, what the fuck does being a girl or woman mean? Especially when I know that historically, bodies like mine have not even been considered when it comes to what a woman means. And y'all want to fight to get into this space that, let's be honest, cis white women have occupied.
Yeah.
Because
we didn't make the rules.
What was it? The invention of women? An African understanding of Western colonization. Thank you. Hold up the book. Because y'all like to act like this has been from the dawn of time, when your roots have not known this type of weird gender binary. And even if they have, it hasn't been this aggressive. I don't know. This disenfranchising.
Yeah. Yeah. I okay, so that you bring up, I'm glad you got to the black shit.
Right?
I'm glad you got to the black shit. Okay. Because one thing about Sojourner Truth, she laid them hoes out.
Like, hello.
Laid them hoes out.
Where white women were like, no, you can't vote. What? You let black men vote before us? We're white. What? Now you want to let black women vote? They're not even women. They're not even people.
Right.
Y'all hear how you sound now, some 100 years later?
Right.
Wild.
Yeah, you're going down on the wrong side of history. And the thing is, it's always disheartening when black people stand 10 toes down in their ignorance after people bring and provide opportunities for education and information, because blackness as it exists currently in the minds of many people and as it has existed historically is genderqueer. Right? Blackness as it exists is genderqueer.
Blackness. There are plenty of indigenous cultures around the world. Plenty.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
I think the reason why I agree with, no, I 100% agree with what you're saying. I'm talking, well, I agree with you in terms of like, in terms of the indigenous cultures that approach gender in a queer way, with a queer methodology. Mm-hmm. But when I'm talking about the way that blackness has been constructed in a way where it is forced into gender queerness, because even arriving here, we were just bodies for the source of labor. Some of us could produce other bodies, some of us could not. That didn't make you woman. That barely made you female, right? Not female, human, female.
And also, I'm like, the historical documents that I've read of doctors doing experiments on black women and their body parts because of this, they must be different. They must be some sort of different species.
Right.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No. I agree. Genderization is something that's happened to black people. It is not something indigenous to black people, African people. That is not our way. And that's why I've asked people, that's why we've both asked people to read The Invention of Woman, to read male daughters and female husbands. And I'm just going to read a brief excerpt for you in the back.
Thank you. Here we go. It's story time.
It's story time. Now, it says the assertion that woman as a social category did not exist in Europe. Now, this is specific to Nigeria, but there are many books that talk about various different countries and tribes all throughout the continent of the motherland. Do your research. Google is free. Again, the assertion that, quote, woman as a social category did not exist in Yoruba communities should not be read as an anti-materialist, hermeneutics kind of post-structural.
Because they be throwing $7,500 words in there, like
Girl,
This
my
is why.
dyslexia
This is,
not gonna
but
allow it.
side note, this is why we can't know our history sometimes, because y'all be making the shit too damn dense to understand. But anyway,
Like the
that's why Herbie is here. Hello.
No, but yeah, kind of post-structural deconstruction of the body into disillusion. Far from it. Listen, the body was and still is very corporal in Yoruba communities. But prior to the infusion of Western notions into Yoruba culture, the body was not the basis for social roles, inclusion, and exclusions. It was not the foundation of social thought and identity. We This is a new thing. And then I also, so there's two other quotes that I wanted to just reference really quickly. The second one is that in a Western dominated world where in which gender is invoked as a fundamental and universal category, there's a preoccupation with establishing gender. This must be understood, however, excuse me, it must be understood, however, that in the Yoruba past, gender categories were not part of the frame of reference. Gender, therefore, cannot be used as the fault line in the reconstruction of the past. So when we're trying to when we're trying to understand who we are, right? Because there was this big movement at the 500-year mark from when we arrived here as slaves, where people were like, okay, we're going back to our roots. We're going back home. We're going to Africa. And we're trying to walk our history back. You can't do that. You can't. What did Audre Lorde say? You'll never tear down the master's house using the master's tools.
Nope. For the master's
You
tools
can't.
can never.
Right. I fucked that up, but y'all.
No, you got it. You got it.
You can't view our history through a white supremacist colonialized lens, right? Like I said, gender is something that happened to us, and so gender wars and the divisiveness that come as a result of that is a vestige of colonialism. Just like this issue with Jess Hilarious, this cis black woman, and Blessing Rose or Love, this trans black woman, this is white supremacist patriarchy operating as it should, as its function to design. So it's like, and this is gonna be me using an example from Roots. If I tell you your name is Toby and beat the shit out of you, you're gonna be forced to believe it. And then we're gonna get to a point where your great grandkids are gonna be willing to windmill a bitch in the street about the fact if I try to call your great granddad Kunta, because your grandkids are gonna feel like I'm erasing your legacy. We have to have a willingness to really trace back and we have to trace it with a fine tooth and comb to understand who we are outside of these ways of knowing and understanding and interpreting our history through a white supremacist imperialist lens. White supremacist patriarchy has infiltrated everything, even biology, right? And so,
go ahead.
No. There's an expression that goes, "It's easier to trick people than to convince them that they've been tricked." And so the Shondo is taking me out. So the takeaway, it seems for me, is that if you keep using the master's tools, your ass gonna stay in the master's house. Period. When you ready to dip, call me. I've got hot pink tools.
Call me back, girl. Call me back. Call me back.
Call me back.
Herby!
No, yeah, that's my take.
Yes. And when you say that to people, you sound nuts. You know, Bell Hooks used to say that when she'd say a capitalist, patriarchal, hegemon. You know, she'd say the whole laundry list, and she'd be like, "I don't know why people laugh. I'm literally telling them the truth." Like, right. She's like, "Did I say something funny?" Like,
she's hilarious. She was hilarious. Loved her bad.
But it's true. People refuse to believe that. I'm like, do y'all not know that race science was a thing? Are we going to act like that wasn't a real thing that created races in this way specifically? Eugenics. We're not going to talk about eugenics. We're not going to talk about Kellogg, a cereal that everybody eats. How Kellogg, he was a famous eugenicist. Ooh, it is dark to look into his past. Mm-hmm. Right? It's literally everywhere. And when you say this, people say you're being paranoid, you're doing too much, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, I have a great life. It's a good time. Well. I have fun. I cut up, I do what I want, but I also learn about the shit that has
Yeah.
been roadblocks for me to not have the kind of life that I want.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that I always like to ask people, like a Jess Hilarious, because not only was she angry and upset with this and was all mad, but it's, we can't have anything. Well, what are you trying to have?
Yeah.
This weird possession of not even parts that aren't even yours, this entitlement to knowing whose parts and what's and getting people's business and telling them who and how they are. Again, master's tools, girl. Because why are you going around doing the exact same thing that you cannot stand people doing to you? When white people come around trying to tell black women how to dress, how to behave, I'm not saying white women just walk around and do that. I just mean like, I know that's not a thing. I just mean, but it kind of is. I just wonder.
Right. Both things are true.
Where you've had to feel like you have to dress a certain way or look a certain way. And even when you look at the aesthetics of excess that black and brown women have, a different way of being a woman under that umbrella term that's not just a delicate, cute, whatever, a different way of doing that. I don't know. It's just weird. I just don't understand what exactly you need to possess. Like, why do you need to possess a period? And not possess, like have one, but why do you need to like have ownership of this bodily function?
Interesting.
I genuinely don't. Anyway, sorry.
No, yeah, they're definitely passing out period patents, and Jess Hilarious has got one.
Like, what?
So she's gatekeeping. I mean,
okay, but there was something else she said that I wanted to touch on because it really bothered me on top of all the other stuff. Y'all need to stop calling queer people and genderqueer people mentally ill. You need to stop. You need to stop. It's irresponsible. It is dangerous. Y'all are throwing around therapy speak and words you do not know the meaning of just because you like to hear yourselves talk. Stop. Every 2 minutes, people will talk about, not every 2 minutes, anytime somebody dies, unalives themselves, people will be like, checking on your friends, mental health is so important, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. Shut the fuck up. You don't care about mental health. Because mental health stuff that's difficult, I saw people commenting being like, yeah, it's just personality disorders and blah, 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 and drag and yada, yada, yada. Y'all need to stop trying to, is the word pathologize? People literally just living and existing the way they want to. And you can turn around and say, well, if somebody was going around and schizophrenic and stabbing people, I wouldn't. That's a false equivalent, girl. That's somebody actively doing harm to someone. And this is the other thing that people like to, this is something that, I can't remember her first name, but she's a lawyer, something Newsenbaum talks about in From Disgust to Humanity, about sexual orientation and the law or something like that. But she talks about how disgusts operate and how people will be disgusted by things that aren't going to harm them, that actually aren't going to do anything to them, but they have a disgust nonetheless. And so that manifests in, okay, we need to then create legislation around these bodies because they disgust us. And if they are around us, even though there isn't any actual harm to us besides our own sense of what we think is right or wrong, we still need to control that or ostracize it or get rid of it. And one way that we've really managed to discount people and just say, fuck your opinions, your thoughts and feelings don't matter is by labeling them as mentally ill. We just throw that onto people and are like, deuces. I have a mental illness. I run a business. I have a personality disorder. I have very, very good relationships. And it took a long time to get there, 100%. But it had nothing to do with me being genderqueer because I knew all this stuff before I knew I was genderqueer. Sorry, that there were just comments like that that just really, and never mind, I'm not gonna say that. That's the radical part. But anyway.
No. Actually, it's so interesting. I was having a conversation with my friend yesterday, and he was like, people will argue because we started talking about intersex because he watched the reel that I put up, like explaining about intersex people, and he was like, "Well, how do you respond?" And he actually works with people with developmental disabilities, and like, who are neurodivergent, and he was like, "How do you respond to people who will say that?" Being intersex is a disability. So like, yes, it's a small portion of the population and that is a disability, but I'm like, but it's not though. Like every words have meaning and they have definitions. And so disability is, I believe the definition was like a limitation of like, I forget what the definition was off the top of my head. So I don't want to, this video will live forever and I don't want to look stupid. But essentially these people none of the categories that made a person fall under a disability category applied to these people. And then I'm like, even if I wanted to give credence to that, how does that strip them of their humanity?
This is the thing.
So let's create a fantasy where these people do have, they're neurodivergent in some way. Let's just create a fantasy world. In what world does that give you the right to then police how these people navigate life? What harm does that do to you or to others, right? In this fantasy, because it's untrue, right? Because what you're saying is untrue. But for argument's sake, if I'm going to grant you that so that we can continue the conversation, so that you can keep listening, what harm is done now? Now that I've agreed with you so we can enter, hypothetically, what harm is done? And the answer is none still. So even if that was your logic, that logic is flawed. Because no one is harmed.
No one is harmed except literally your feelings. And that's something you have to unpack for yourself.
Right.
You can be mad about the fact that people call you a man and therefore treat you a different way and feel like you are not entitled to protection or safety because of that. You can be upset about that. Yeah. You can be upset about the fact that you maybe misunderstood what she was saying, or like she said, she was talking about phantom periods and we didn't know what that was and like you didn't have the information. That's fair.
Right.
But what you don't need to do, again, and this is where the danger compounds, is because you have somebody coming in and saying something, not providing context. It's a clip. It gets taken out of context even more, further removed from it. And then somebody else responds to it. And now you have over 50,000 comments on a video with people fighting with each other and people feeling more emboldened to stand up in their transphobia and say, well, they are fucking crazy. So why should we even pay them attention? Why should we take them seriously? And when people diagnose you and flip you with a mental illness like that, they also use it as an excuse to infantilize you. And y'all will get all upset about Jonah Hill saying this stuff to his partner, treating her like he was her fucking dad, being like, I'm not gonna explain it to you. Y'all agreed in the video that I posted, talking all this stuff, but then not see how you do that to other people.
Yeah.
Whew, all I want is self-reflection.
And how did that help you? How did that, like, what did you get out of that? What did Gabrielle Union say? Did you get the job?
Stop it. Because I was about to quote that. Did you get the job? Did you get the man?
Did you get the house?
No.
Is your house any bigger?
Is your check bigger?
What did you get? Because
what did you get?
What you got was a tweet from DJ Academics. What you got was a tweet from DJ Academics saying, Just Hilarious going crazy on the trans community. What the fuck? The craziest part is, I thought she was trans the whole time. The biggest plot twist of the year. So you done windmill. You done fought. You done galvanized everybody on your side to attack the trans girlies. And here it is. A cis man is still saying, oh shit, I thought you were trans as well. So wouldn't it behoove you to create a world in which wouldn't it behoove you to create a world in which trans people are treated humanely so that despite if people see you as a cis woman or a trans woman, you still get the same respect?
It could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it. Why would you rather make it hard?
Girl, I don't know. It ain't adding up. These Timon shoulders is doing me in. Girl, I don't get it.
Like,
I don't know.
Truly, this is the other part of it. Because then, T.S. Madison had to pop in. And real quick, before we continue, no big deal, but T.S. does follow you on Instagram, doesn't she?
Yeah.
The doll.
She does
The doll does follow you on the gram.
Yeah, that's my girl. That's my auntie in my head. Period.
Come on.
I was windmilling about my auntie. Period. And I'm not gonna stop. One thing about it, girl, before I picked up the camera, I was in a Maddie mob. And also, she does nothing but spread life, love, joy, and has been a supporter of cis women, trans women, and LGBTQ people. Girl, keep your mouth off that.
Truly.
Thanks.
Don't do it.
Period. Yeah.
But no, T.S. Madison had to come up in the mix as well. Angelica Ross had to come up in it. I think I have some photos of, I think Angelica was, what was it? I don't think I have it here. Never mind. It doesn't matter. But then it became this whole war, this back and forth beef, quote unquote, this arguing that could have and does have real world repercussions.
Right.
And like you said, especially with cis men that are scared of what it means to, hold up, sorry, let me actually say this. To your point as well before, thank you. It would behoove us to create a world where we don't look at trans women like monsters, mentally ill enemies, whatever you want to say. Because maybe then, I don't know, the cis men that date them wouldn't feel so ashamed. So, society tells me that I'm not supposed to be like this. Society says all of this. We dump all of our, what they say in the bluest eye, we put everything on her. All of our pain, our shame, all of this. We find a new body type to dump it all onto. And if you are attracted to or friendly with or ally anything with that body type, the stigma is attached onto you too.
Come on, Tony.
As opposed to,
Tony.
right? If we lived in a world where people weren't stigmatized, not just for being trans, not just for being genderqueer or non-binary, but also just not therefore then stigmatized for being attracted to something a little different. It's not a huge part of the population, but something a little different. Thank you.
Thank you. You know what else too? What T.S. Madison showed me in that moment. Well, I already know what she gives. So I was just like, Jess, you could have had allies in this movement, trans allies, had you spoken specifically, because specifically to Blessing, and said, Blessing, I think that what you're saying is harmful. You make me feel X, Y, and Z. And I know trans women whom I love, whom I respect, right? And they don't think this way. Then maybe the door would have been open for Blessing to say that she was talking about phantom periods or she was speaking up for intersex people. And then also maybe there would have been trans women like T.S. Madison who commented on the post when it went viral and said, wait, I don't understand because only females have periods. Now, of course, we know intersex people who menstruate also have periods as well. But again, this is not commonplace knowledge. I think that, and I also think too, knowledge is also about access. Information is about access. So not everybody has access to this information, and I understand that. So it is kind of elitist to everything they're saying. I'm meeting everybody where they are, above and below, wherever I may be.
Trying to. That's the thing. Exactly.
Right. And so I think you ostracized yourself, Jess, because T.S. Madison would have been windmilling with you. Y'all could have had a collaborative conversation.
Really could
you
have.
could have gained fans and not bigotry, because you just set yourself up for DJ Academics to take the trans pie that you were trying to throw, that hatred pie that you were trying to throw at other people. He slapped you right in the face with it. You played yourself.
Boop.
And now, with all due respect, you look stupid.
Boop.
STOOPID. Stupid.
Come on, hooked on phonics.
Girl.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Somebody just commented, but is Google elitist? I'm living.
I mean, listen, it's not, but not everybody be having access to. See, I be thinking about people that like don't have access to stable internet or Wi-Fi or even electricity. You know, like people will sometimes be like, you over-explain yourself too much, or you say blah, blah, blah. I'm like, sometimes I do, yeah. And other times I'm aware of the fact that not everybody that comes across my shit is coming from it at the same baseline of knowledge that I am. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I can be a bit, rude. I get it. But I'm a human. And I have told y'all that. I'm not always going to be nice about when I give information. I do my best. And like you said, to meet people where they are, no matter where they are. That's why I'm sitting here. We led with, okay, this is what I know what you meant, but this is how you were wrong. For all of them, right? To hold that space. But as you said, Jess, you actually came across looking angry. Even though you were saying...
anger is legitimate.
Anger is legitimate, 100%. But to say that trans women are mad because they can't be real women. And it's like, well, girl, keep that.
You lost me.
Keep it. Nobody asked you for that.
We don't give a fuck.
Literally nobody asked you for that.
We do not care.
Like,
and you know what else too? Let me give you your 10s, because you do an excellent job. It is like enviable in the best way. When I'm watching you, you are a source of study for the girls who do this work, because you are so intentional about covering every basis, thinking about every person, every intersection. It is admirable.
I mean, I do miss a lot. I miss, like, truly. I got some gaps.
It's because you're... girl, fuck that. I think it's because your audience is so big and so many people are which is beautiful, that you have this collection. There's such a diverse pool, so many people are exposing you to their lived experience and other truths that exist. And so you're aggregating all of that data and you're like, look, these are all the points that I missed. You are doing phenomenal. You're doing more than phenomenal. You are speaking to so many people when you're only one person who can only do one thing, and you're speaking to so many experiences that are not yours. Like, we're all gonna miss shit because, to your point, we're human, but you go above and beyond and sometimes operate as if you are the writer, speaker, editor. You are all of these things, and it is phenomenal to watch. That's why everybody here overlives, because you create space even when and that's why I always end my videos with, I'm in a constant state of practice, honey. Girl, I'm in a constant state of practice, because it's kind of like armor. Not because, oh my God, they're going to cancel me, but because, bitch, be real with yourself first. Be real with you first. You understand that you make mistakes. You don't consider people. When I make my videos, I think about two kinds of people. And I think about really I really only think about Black women and Black queer folk. And that encompasses everything to me. That encompasses the race stuff, disability stuff, that encompasses wealth stuff, that encompasses gender, sexuality, sexual proclivity. It encompasses all of that. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes there's people who are butthurt, and they're in the comments saying like, I don't feel included. And you know what, beloved? Maybe this message wasn't for you.
Not everything is for everyone. That's something that I'm embracing more now too, of like when people will comment and be like, you didn't talk about this. I'm like, I didn't on purpose. Like, if I'm leaving something out, y'all should know by now with how much I do try to cover as much as possible, to even if I briefly mention or don't mention, sometimes it is intentional of, okay, I don't think I can speak on this as much as I want to. This will be all over the place. You got to focus in. Let's have this conversation now. Then I can talk about something else. But thank you very much for saying that. That is very sweet. Thank you. It was very
I mean it. I really mean it.
Thank you. I'm trying to take my flowers, and just be like, but anyway.
Yeah.
I think we should take a break. I was going to say something, but then I was like, I don't really have that much on my mind right now, but I'm wondering here, there are, because I feel like we've covered a lot of the stuff that I had put out.
We've covered a lot.
Maybe we just go to the chat now.
Yes. Hello,
Let's
chat.
go to the chat. Let's go to the chat.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. Sorry. I'm looking at it from another device.
No, same. I'm looking at it on the side here. People are just saying what's up.
Okay. Is this Shanaria Williams says, they move quick. Oh my God.
Yep.
They move
I
this
tried
quick
to slow it down. I did have it on a timer.
I don't know. Okay, hold on. She says, oh girl, I'm trying to read it. I don't know, as a dark-skinned cishet woman, why other cishet women want to gatekeep periods when endometriosis, PCOS, and etc. exist, making menstruation horrible for sufferers, including me. Aw, that's so sad. I don't want to speak on that because I don't have a uterus.
But also, it's like, yeah, I don't know why y'all want to gate, like, people have
like
periods and some
gatekeeping
people
anything
don't.
is weird.
I just don't understand how we got here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm low key like, wait, like I understand how we got here, but I'm also like, anyway.
This is a random aside, and this is gonna be deep. So if you're like Herby,
All right,
I don't give that.
Uh-oh.
So I'm 100% on board with the conversations around let's not gatekeep gender. What the fuck? Like, that's weird. Gender has always been an expansive thing, whether we've been privy to that or not. And it's a social construct. And as I said, I believe it to be a philosophical experiment. That's similar. Well, people also say race is a social construct.
Oh,
and
here we go.
Right. So how do you feel about gatekeeping race, gatekeeping blackness specifically, right?
Okay,
but race
so
in general.
Here's the thing. I've talked about this, and sometimes I get weird about it because I've had people message me and be like, how dare you speak about Black American issues? And I'm like, I grew up in the States, but when you're, same way I think biracials feel like they don't belong places, when you're multi-ethnic, it can feel very like, because I never feel Gambian enough because I wasn't born or raised there, but people assume that I am because of my complexion and because of my family and stuff. But I grew up in the States and I grew up in Canada and like, yeah, anyway, it's just a whole thing. But I had actually done a video a while ago about the theory of racelessness. And when I first heard it, I was like, no, I don't like this shit. This is stupid. What the hell? Like, I was like, I'm not about this. And the more we were debating and having this conversation with Dr. Sheena Mason, who I adore her cute queer family.
I've
she got
studied
babies.
That video.
Like I haven't watched it since, so I don't even know. I might have changed my mind on a lot of stuff, but it's touchy for me because on one hand, I understand the protectiveness, like I understand the protectiveness of, you just even look at the word woke, how that turned into something that we don't even recognize anymore.
Right.
Beyond language, just culturally, I understand how you can want to protect, but at the same time, when we reify being racialized, in the long run, for me, I'm like, we're just doing the thing that they were trying to tell us to do. Reifying our differences because of skin complexion. I talk about how white people feel very angry, very upset when you racialize them, when you say white people. Because they're not used to that, right? They're not used to being lumped all together. They're not used to being the sole representation for their entire race or stereotyped. They're not used to being racialized. And so because of that, it's allowed them a certain willful ignorance to move through the world as just a default. Whereas with a lot of other racialized people, you are aware that you are quote unquote different. You're the different. The standard is white and you are the different to that. And so even in that video, I talked about how I think it is beautiful and important that you can carve a culture and a tradition and your own flair and style and just everything around something that was made to make you feel lesser than.
Right.
But then I also think maybe that's just people that, I don't know, don't have as much, and are able to do more with less. And that has less to do with being even just Black and maybe more a class issue, I don't know. These are unfolding thoughts, but go ahead, because it seems like you have a lot of thoughts.
No. Yeah. What you're saying is triggering thoughts. I think that for me, the only way, so when it comes, 100%, 8 days out of the week, 25 hours out of the day, am gatekeeping Blackness. Ooh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Here we go.
It is what it is. I'm gatekeeping, and I'm gonna tell you to your face, I'm gatekeeping, because that's just how I feel. And I also say that the only way for racelessness to work, right? It is a good idea.
Yeah.
Is for the people with the most race privilege and the most institutional power to buy into it. And I just don't trust white people. Don't trust white people to buy into racelessness. Even if every even if every non-white person on this planet agreed to say we are just human beings, and white people with the most institutional and structured power still says, okay, y'all can be y'all and we'll be white. We'll still remain other, even if we're not calling ourselves Black. Blackness, and also speaking of Blackness, there is something unique, to your point, magical about thunder. I'm a little scared. Unique and magical to being a Black person.
Yes.
And in that video, you said that you were a Reconstructionist, or you said you're engaging with these new ideas, and you still kind of feel like you're a Reconstructionist. I mean, ideas evolve; we're never the same. But I was like, I resonate with that. I resonate with saying, no, you don't just get to call yourself Black.
No.
Right? I'm Black. You're you. And then we can look at ways to show Blackness in such a manifold way that we level the playing field, where, to your point, white people are the objective and everybody else is other. But if we begin to show all different kinds of people in humane ways, which means very multiplex ways, then we work not just in media, but in legislation, in politics, in jobs, then we don't have a permanent underclass.
Yeah.
And we can create an equitable system. Then that's where Reconstruction comes in, where maybe after everything is equitable, then maybe my great grandkids will be calling themselves just people and not Black.
And this is the thing, right? Like, for me, I think people will hear an idea and think, well, there's no way that's going to work. And I never operate from the mindset that it's going to work now or even in my lifetime. I never think of it like that. It's the 7 generations thing. What did people 7 generations before you do to get you here? And what are you going to do for 7 generations after you? There's an author named Todd May who talks about people distant from us in space and people distant from us in time. The people distant from us in space are the people further away from us, the migrant workers, let's say, that you don't see, but that will pick your fruit that you get to eat, or the clothes that you're wearing, or stuff like that, And then there's the people distant from us in time. They're humans that we will never meet. But what do we owe those people? What do I owe those people? Knowing that, for me, I don't want to have kids. I don't care about that. But I still care about the future kids, other people's kids in this world. And so with a lot of these ideas, we are in a place where everything is in flux. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, everything is in flux.
I love when you sing. It's my favorite thing.
But it is. And because of that, it's the uncomfortable. We're all just going to be real uncomfortable for a while.
Yeah.
The 60s didn't feel comfortable. They were real uncomfortable.
Okay. Girl,
But
I was there.
Exactly. But then things slowly changed. and it moves forward a little bit, and then it goes back, and then it moves forward a little bit, and then it goes back. And each time, at least for me, and I have to think this way or else I'll just be existential and want to die, but it just goes a little bit further every time.
Yeah.
And it requires us being willing to entertain these ideas even. And yeah, some of us are still gonna gatekeep blackness, like you said. And like I said, I feel uncomfortable, you know, when like a white person says, fuck around and find out. I'm tired of hearing it. Cause I'm like, girl.
See, but that challenges us. Oh, this is good.
Right?
That challenges us to expand what we consider to be blackness. And then it's
Yes.
like, well, damn.
Right?
Damn.
And that's the thing
Don't-
that I knew in the video, and even when I'm talking to you about it now, I'm like, but then, you know, do I just want that to be the only thing? And why can't I share, you know? Because then maybe it's not annoying. But look what they did to woke. And I'm only talking about words, not even just on the macro more so. But
Yeah.
sorry, there was a point I wanted to make about, okay, we're talking about the only way that this kind of thing would work is if white people as well didn't buy into whiteness, didn't buy
Right.
into this idea of being, I don't know, the default, the separate. But in order for that, it's kind of shitty, but it's like they have to be aware that whiteness was created first. Because a lot of times people want to do the do not pat. They just want to go straight through and be like, well, let's just be raceless. And you haven't earned that because you haven't confronted what racism has done.
Yeah.
And I had pointed this out when at the beginning, when all this stuff was happening in George Floyd stuff in 2020, I was like, you know what, y'all? A lot of your black friends do not trust you. And that is why they cannot talk to you about these things. Because
Pour this glass. That was deep.
but this is the thing. If we're just talking about people to people, right?
Right.
If I am your friend, cool, we get along, sure. But I know that I just can't really talk to you about certain things because you're never going to really get it. How much trust do we really have in our relationship, truly? And maybe part of that's on me for not trusting you. But if my experience with white people most times is, I'm just going to have to sigh and walk away because you're just not going to get it. How can I trust you? And how can we build from that? And the thing that I think, and this is something one of my friends said recently that I really appreciated, was, you know, white people have to, and not just white people, but people that are in this upper class, let's say, really have to work on practicing their empathy muscle. Because let's talk about media, for example. People will say, okay, if you are the one black person that gets a TV show or movie, it has to do well and people have to come support. Otherwise, they're going to know that it's not like black people don't come out for this, people don't whatever. Instead of thinking, well, we've had to watch movies and televisions and programs with white people as a protagonist and understood their perspectives forever and eventually just been able to be like, okay, well, like, you know, I'm not fucking the Joker, but I can identify with Heath Ledger's dark, broody way of playing him a little bit. Or I'm not, I don't know, fucking, what are those popular white movies that people love? Like,
You can't ask me, sis.
stop. I can't stand you.
You can't ask, girl, all I watch is Tyler Perry and the
Stop.
Own Network.
Do not say, okay.
I said it.
Bye.
No, I canceled myself. Yeah,
Bye.
I canceled myself with that one.
Bye. I know Tyler is writing during this writer strike.
Girl,
Tyler,
right?
he said, y'all want acrimony too? Anyway.
No, not Tyler Perry's worst movie ever.
Woo! I have to watch it for a video, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
I'm a little hot. Wait. You said something that.
But no,
like,
sorry. The empathy muscle, the practicing of that. People will be like, oh, well, would I be able to watch a bunch of movies and TV shows that focus on this type of character? Let's say it is the most Cardi B ass protagonist. Have they ever tried to practice their empathy muscle to relate to somebody like that, even if they look and have no experience like them? How many of you have actually had to do that or read books? Like there's this thing that people talk about, a lack of repeated exposure. There's studies done where like it's not necessarily that white folks test better on scales of attractiveness because they're more attractive, because that's subjective, but it's because in certain media, in certain parts of the world, a white, I don't know if they say white Anglo-Saxon, which sounds weird, but is like the most common facial type, phenotype, skin complexion that you'll see in advertising. And so when you have that exposure a lot, it's easier for you to tell, oh, with these types of people, this group of people that have this particular phenotype and this skin tone, what's more attractive? Like, but the example they gave was like, let's say you're in Senegal and there you stick some random Scottish person in Senegal. Yes, they're going to maybe view who's attractive or whatever, but they're still going to be looking at it from a lens that they have, where like maybe they're looking for someone that has similar phenotypes as the people that they live around. Does that make sense? Sorry, I know it's kind of a little, it's representation, but it's a lack of repeated exposure of like, you don't diversify your exposure, your worldview. And if you don't do that intentionally, it's hard for you to, especially if you are born in a place where you haven't been othered and you're used to being a default. I don't know how you end up truly understanding the world and the way the majority of people in the world live.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if you said a couple of things. You've been speaking. You've been preaching. And I've been living.
It was the emotional part, Anyway.
Yeah, and it hit me. I don't know if you saw Intellectual Media's video, or if y'all saw Intellectual Media's video, Words Are Messy.
I haven't seen that one.
So good. You would enjoy it.
Okay.
It's your type of content. So basically, what she's getting at is she's talking a little bit about gatekeeping of words and words associated with cultures. And actually, someone commented something down in the comment section where they were like, "Well, isn't a lot of AAV actually from ballroom culture?" And we could have that conversation. However, she was basically saying if Black speak, right? Because with the popularization and the globalization of language in the digital era, so many people are talking the same. And a lot of it does come from Black culture. A lot of it comes from queer culture. A lot of it comes from,
I like to say our Southern Black aunties and the ballroom. Those are the two places where I'm like, I feel like there's a lot of...
Boom. Straight like that. I'd have to agree humbly. But she was basically saying like, so she used the example of, the controversy that happened with the S word that Lizzo used in her song and Beyonce used in her song Heated, right? And she was like, words have different meanings in different cultural settings across different times. And so when Lizzo and Beyonce use that word, they're using it the way a lot of Black people have used it colloquially to mean you wilding out. Yeah. Right? You wilding out. And I'm shocked. Right? And so most Black people have not heard that in relationship to people with disabilities. So this means something else. Or trade. Right? Gay folk will say, girl, trade comes from the ballroom.
People will be like, trade. What are you trading?
Trade. But see, girl, in Louisiana, trade means just like a fine-ass man. It has nothing to do with him being gay. And so that's why it's in that song, Kiki, Do You Love Me? I got a new boy, and that nigga trade. She ain't talking about no gay man. Right? And so it's like language can be adopted by people and given new meaning across different time. You cannot gatekeep language, right? And also, you cannot gatekeep performance. And if we say that certain ghetto performances, like when people are like, oh, or even with what's going on with RuPaul's Drag Race and the drag queens, how they're like, these drag queens are performing Black womanhood. But my question is, aren't Black women equally Carisha and Michelle Obama and Lupita Nyong'o and Angela Bassett? Aren't we all of those things? And we're all of these things at once. We're get Black people. I'm not a Black woman, but Black women are, posh, respected. Black women are posh, sophisticated, ghetto, medium ghetto, all of the things. Yeah. And so if we say that that is Black performance, and so when people are doing that thing, they're acting in a Black way,
Yep.
then we're also subscribing to the notion that when people are not acting that way, that they're being an Oreo or they're acting white. And so it's like,
Here we go.
Are we-
I know. I know that all too well.
right.
You like to read just a little too much. All of a
Right.
sudden.
Now you're a white woman. It's getting crazy. And so it's like we are incarcerating ourselves to a label that doesn't fit all of us. And so when you make Blackness as expansive as possible, you start to see it as a human experience. It can still be uniquely Black, right? It can still be uniquely Black because nobody is going to fry black chicken. It's going to fry black chicken. It's going to fry fried chicken. It's going to, cook some collard greens. And there's
That's something that's also
embrace to
passed
me.
down. It's passed down.
True.
You know, like that. So it bleeds into a culture.
Yeah. I think there's something unique and understood that doesn't have to be spoken for me. I've had experience with all kinds of people, and there is something unique to the experience of being around other Black people.
It is.
It's unique.
It's something else.
Unique. No matter where they fall on the class spectrum, or where they're from, there's a sort of, and there is a
somebody
shared
did the
experience.
Beyonce unique.
That's what you
Oh
are.
my God, 2 days for you. 2 days for you.
Got 2 days?
I'm a month out. Ooh.
You know what? Give me 1
I'm
second.
2 months out.
Give me 1 second.
Oh, not the fan. Here we go. Okay.
1 second, honey. Oh, I got something better than the fan.
Uh-oh.
I got something better than the girl. You need. You need.
Unicorn is the uniform.
Uniform you put on. Eyes on eye.
You put on.
Okay.
Come on.
Hold on.
Come on.
I don't really, girl. All I know is
Oh.
when heated, I gotta cool it. Wait, let me adjust. I am too excited. I'm gonna lose my motherfucking
Tip, tip, tip on hardwood floors.
10 across the board.
Give me face,
Okay,
face,
you
face,
know.
face. Y'all, face card never declines. My God.
Eat it.
Eat it, eat it, eat it. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Make the mommy eat it.
Oh, I'm going through a lot over here. Technical difficulties. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Oh my God, can you hear me?
I'm just over here singing.
Oh. All right, y'all. No, yeah, Beyonce is coming in 2 days or 3 days, and I'm going to lose my shit, honestly. I don't know how I will survive.
I need to plan my outfit. Like, I'm still trying to figure out. I want it to be like a BDSM cowboy experience, you know?
When is she coming to you?
So I'm going to NOLA, the last show. Going to New Orleans. Yep.
That's gonna be nasty.
Disgusting.
That's gonna be nasty.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, the way I am stretching, the way I said, oh, I'm upgrading to Club Renaissance. She is my anti-capitalist billionaire queen, and I don't want to hear anybody tell me anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's literally bell hooks. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. No, but you know what? This is why I said before we even got on this live, when we were trying to prep everything. Ooh, my neck looks, my head look little now, because I had such big hair on before.
This whole time, I'm like, oh my God, what angle can I sit at so my face doesn't look big, but then my head looks, anyway. The children were gathering me with that app thing, because I roasted white people, and all of a sudden my forehead.
I've seen your face everywhere. I'm just like, this is, first of all,
the way they roasted my hairline.
But they've been gathering themselves.
Like, what did I do? My hairline and my teeth, damn.
But you haven't seen people gather themselves. You'll be like, this is white people's note that they just need to moisturize. And they'd be like, what about me? What about me, huh? And I'm
everybody, since you got your degree and you know everything, I was like, all right, okay.
Since you got your degree. Well, girl, maybe you two need to moisturize. I don't know.
I didn't lose an earring. What? Oh, somebody said I lost an ear. Anyway. No, Herby, you did.
Please, y'all. Hold on.
Sorry, okay, you were saying something else and I've been out here.
yeah, we can't gatekeep language. We can't gate. Oh wait, hold on. I was about to say we can't gatekeep blackness and go against everything I just said. No, we can't gatekeep blackness. Okay, okay. Don't you walk up to me saying, you know, I just feel I'm of the black experience. Whoa,
No, yeah, that's true. Yep.
no, no, that's not how these things work.
To your point though about expansiveness being this, that, the other, left, right, central. That's the thing that I always want to try to get across to people of the minute, and I try to say this a lot, like not all ex people, because we know, I even say so men, we know men on a monolith, we know, you know, the more you say that and make it a habit of saying it, the more you also start to believe that too, of yes, okay, this is not an all black people thing. You know, I made the joke talking about the white folks and the moisturizer. People, of course, were like, well, if a black person is racist.
Girl, that you say that, and they'd be like, if I called you a ghetto ass porch monkey, I'd be wrong, right? And it's like, bitch, yeah, you'd be wrong. You'd be wrong. All I said was grab some motherfucking Cetaphil, hoe.
Literally, these fucking children were out here. Not children, because some of y'all had jobs. I saw your profiles. Y'all were grown adults paying rent.
Mm-hmm. Girl.
Would turn around and be like, oh, wow, funny thing is, because you look like an ape. What? You're literally dehumanizing me.
And I asked you to go to Rite Aid.
But I'm racist.
Moisturization?
I'm trying to help you out. If you don't care about your skin looking good, then that's on you. I just tried to, you know what? Never mind. I'm never going to drop the skincare routine now. Boom.
Girl, y'all done fucked that up too. Y'all done fucked that up too.
Lord have mercy. Sorry. Okay, what
it.
are the children saying in the chat? Because I'm like, we are... Somebody,
I'm
JoJo,
curious.
commented earlier, was like, and y'all said this is the first time y'all talked? Properly, yes.
It's giving... Yeah, properly.
It's giving Clay Cousins.
It is true. It's giving Clay Cousins votes. I live for it. Actually, I told you that when you put the flyer up. I'm like, it's giving Cousins, and I live. Okay.
Does anybody have any questions? Also, Herbie, you can let me know. We could wrap this up in like 20 minutes. Like, we could just tap out at a smooth 4:30 because this has been...
I've been getting my life.
4:30
4:30 feels like a good time to wrap it up. We'll do some like Q&A now.
Yes.
But I'm hungry, and actually, this like these 2 glasses of wine make me want to like actually have a third.
Oh, see, I wish I would have had something in here. I don't have anything in here. I do have wine. 1 second.
Okay, I'm gonna read the comments, questions, and concerns. Now, hold on, y'all. N-word. Hey, that's in the book. Girl, Deuteronomy 69:69. Thou shalt gatekeep nigga, especially with the hard R, amen. 2 glasses of wine. Oh my God, am I being judged? It's not even a real glass. It's a petite glass. It's petite. Okay, ASMR collab channel dropping when? We could totally do ASMR. I don't know, Cassie.
Screaming. I don't know. We could do ASMR.
No, honestly, I'm a little loud for ASMR.
Did you watch the Barbie movie? I'm gonna watch the Barbie movie next. Herbie has a new video about the Barbie movie. Y'all better go give Herbie some love.
I believe the video is called Why White Feminist Imagination Won't Save Us. It's a game.
Oh.
It's really a game.
Prepare yourself. Okay, I'm sorry. Look, see, whispering.
I couldn't do it.
I was like, this is exhausting.
Yeah, I'm like. What do you want? Okay. Girl.
I do not. The lighter.
Lights up.
Stop. Oh my God.
Come on, ASMR.
Ooh.
Okay, what are your questions, comments, concerns? Tell me why I just realized this was alive. Come on, Rayvon. Get it together, my friend. No, Herbie's review has no spoilers. Kevin.
Yes, love that. Oh, somebody said, Khadijah, I think the stream has been really cool, and I'd love to see more like it where you collab with other creators. I think it's been cool seeing Herby share her opinion here on your platform. Yes. Also, can we just give some love to Herby? Because this is one thing about me. I'm a stubborn bitch. I'm a Taurus. And so I will not rest until you have at least 100,000 subscribers. Like, I will not rest.
Oh my God.
I am like...
Girl, I'm not resting with you.
But even ask Feek. Like, there were a couple times I tried to recommend his channel and people, like, for some reason, it just, like, didn't hit or something was going on. And then there's, like, that one time it happens and then all of a sudden, more people check in. So, y'all better go give Herby some love.
Pull up. We try to get to 1K.
Hey, listen.
1K is crazy. 100K.
Exactly. 80K left. If you can get to 100K by the end of the year,
I know. My goal was 50K. But if we can get to 100, girl, I would gag. If we can get to 100K, what can I do that would be ridiculous?
Ooh. What? Oh, ooh, true. Ooh.
If we can get to 100K by the end of the year,
wait, where are you located?
I will.
I'm sorry. You don't have to say your whole. You can just say the state if you don't want people to know the state. Sorry, I don't know why.
Me. Here's my address.
Tell me in front of 7,000 people.
No. I'm in Jersey.
Okay, I'm
We're
on the
not
East
far.
Coast as well. Okay, we are not. Okay. I was just thinking about some things. I got some flight credits, you know.
Girl, not flued out. If I can get to 100K by the end of the year, I will get in full Beyonce drag and do the single ladies dance in Target.
Yes. Okay,
Boom.
so we're making this happen.
We must.
You know
happen.
what? One of them is gonna screen record this and be like, "All right."
You said it.
The date. I swear to God, this happened to me. I said something about that. Oh, if I get to whatever, then I'm going to listen to my old album and we're going to listen and laugh together. And then somebody had to remind me. They were like, hey, remember when you said we would listen to your album? And I was like, who sent you?
Girl, who sent you? Like Rihanna. Girl, who sent you?
Truly. Oh, Rihanna. Oh, Rihanna. We ain't never getting music. It was
Girl,
great. It was
hang
great.
it up. I honestly feel like she's waiting for 10 years because the album dropped in 2016, 2015.
20 anti? I thought it was 2015.
Okay, that might be true. 2015 sounds, well, I really feel like it was 2016 because I was a senior in high school.
Oh my God, wait, Herby, how old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay.
What was I giving you?
I don't know. I just wasn't sure.
Me, I'm 19. What happened?
It's just everybody is like 19 and I'm just like, you know what? That's lovely. Lovely. Personally, at my big age of 31,
that's not.
I'm going to give you, it's not old. I know.
It's not really that big.
It's not that big either, yes. But, and
Get
I'm
out.
not a size queen, but I will say.
Me either.
Right? Because let's talk about it. Oh my God. You know what we should do? We should do another one of these and then just get nasty. Let's just talk about sexy time.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have to get that
much
personal.
this.
We don't have to get that personal. But I don't know. I just love talking about like sex, intimacy, and relationships, you know? It's a
I'm
fun
open to
little,
it.
you know? And sometimes
I'm open
just
to it.
like, everybody's
Let's
feeling
wake it up.
single and depressed and like dating apps suck.
They do.
Okay, it came out in 2016. A lot of people pointed out. Okay.
Boom. Okay. So then, yeah. So she's waiting. In my mind, Rihanna is waiting for the 10-year mark. So 2026, we're getting an album, period.
All right. From your lips to God's ears.
Girl.
Truly.
Honestly, girl, my prayers don't go no higher than the ceiling. So to be honest, it's a dub. It's not
Prayers don't
happening.
go any higher than my eyebrows. So you at least have me beat. Because listen, my heathen ass.
Girl, it's a one-way connection. He stopped listening a long time ago.
Like, truly. Not a one-way connection.
I mean.
Oh my God. Okay, wait. We said we were going to answer questions in the chat and then started.
No, yeah, talking about anything but. Hold on, let me scroll.
Oh my God. Yo,
Curious the
wow.
age of
This
the people
is,
in the
I
chat.
don't think, Herby, honestly, I don't think I've ever had this many viewers on at this, like, at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, I get it. I get what you mean. This is dope. You've got some great people over here.
it's so
Y'all are good
fun.
humans. Oh my God. Powerpuff Girl, you know I love you, sis. Me shouting people out. Hey. Okay. Someone said, Herbie, can you define what you mean by gatekeeping blackness? What does it look like? Who's included and who's excluded? God damn. God damn. That's a deep one. I just mean that you know, everyone can't say the N-word. I don't give N-word passes. I mean that I don't know, when someone is doing something that could easily be, even though we want to make blackness more expansive, but when someone is doing something, they're performing something that I can understand and other people can interpret as, quote, acting black, I want to course correct that behavior. I'm like, I'm offended by that. That insults me. It feels like you're making a caricature. Like when I hang out with my non-black queer friends and they start doing things like, okay, so Nicki Minaj comes on a lot.
Oh, here we go.
Nicki
When you said
Minaj will come
non-black
on.
queer friends, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah. I mean, love them bad. But Nicki Minaj will come on, and Nicki Minaj says the N-word a lot.
Ooh.
And she should. She a black woman. She can say whatever the fuck she want. Liberated. And what I do is, if they're in the back seat, I'm just not checking the rearview mirror. I don't got time. I'm not looking in the back to see, are you saying nigga this, nigga that, nigga da, because you might be. I don't want to see it because I don't want to fight tonight. Okay.
Sometimes you really do have to pick your battles when you go out and you hear. Anyway.
Girl, I'm here for a lemon drop and whatever niggas is in the club. I'm not trying to fight with my homegirl in the back because I'm like, we have had this conversation. So sometimes gatekeeping just looks like, girl, let me mind my black ass business. I don't want to see it. I don't want to be a part of it. Okay. Now, let me think more on what you asked me, and then I'll give you a more in-depth like answer, because I don't want to say something and be like, bitch, now that I thought about it, that's not what I meant. But to the person Rogue who says allyship is not awarded, I agree. You know, you got to really show me that you're an ally beyond just we homegirls, we homeboys, we homies.
And I don't even care about an ally. I want an accomplice. I'm tired of this ally shit. I want an accomplice. What does an ally do for me? Truly, really, like, I'm so sorry you went through that, girl.
Get your ass up and help me whoop this whole ass.
Exactly, an accomplice.
This whole being
truly.
a structure.
This is how solidarity works.
I agree.
Anyway,
I agree.
sorry.
Okay, so what I will say is my laptop is overheating and dying.
Okay, yep. It looks like it's time.
It's giving its time.
It's time. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching this stream, for hanging out with us.
Thank y'all.
Hopefully we gave you some wisdom, some, I don't know, some interesting, thoughtful things, thought-provoking things.
I agree. It was deep shit.
Maybe you just are starting to feel a bit nicer to people, more compassionate to humans, you know? Maybe you're like, wow, why am I so upset with this person doing something that has nothing to do with me?
Hello. The
When was
takeaway
the
is
last time I went outside?
touch grass. touch grass.
And that's the other
That's
thing.
the takeaway.
Touch grass, yes. Truly touch grass. Don't
Girl,
come back inside until you smell like outside.
Right, girl. Me this summer. me all summer. Girl, I'm outside until I smell like it. No, 100%. Honestly, I agree. The takeaway is just mind your fucking business. Yeah, you know, that's my takeaway. And it's always going to be, for me, you know, I'm always going to end it like this. I am in a constant state of practice. And so are you. And you can never fail when you're in a constant state of practice. I love you. Khadijah loves you. You know.
Well, no, I'm on my Doja Cat shit. I don't love y'all.
Oh.
Kidding, I'm sorry. I'm kidding. Come back, I'm playing.
I'm gagged. I wasn't expecting that.
It's just been so funny to watch. Okay. Thank you. Tell the folks where they can find you.
on all your socials. I put just your name at the bottom there. It's on the little bottom of the screen there for y'all to check out. But any other socials that you're at, Threads, Spill, whatever comes out on top, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. X.
Right. I'm everywhere at Herby X Revolus. HERB as in boy, Y, XREV as in Victor, OLUS. I'm here on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Follow me. Love me.
Yep.
Talk to me.
Yep.
Let's be friends.
All right, y'all.
That's it.
Thank you so much. We're going to end this now. It was so lovely. Have a good day. What do I always say? Feed your plants, water your plants, and remember, you can always change your mind because you can. And I'll leave this up. Because again, it's not going to be monetized. So if you see ads on it, talk to YouTube. Don't talk to me. Okay? All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye.